Hello, ladies and gentlemen and non-binary friends. Co-host Ryan here. As you, I'm sure, get, because it's in the goddamn title, this is part 2 of our review of the Golden Lagoon with guests Hayley and Bono. And that is where we will pick back up right now with our episode already in progress. Enjoy. Victor Caroli voice. Autopod Decepticast. Begin. I told him what our cocktail was going to be.
I am double fisting that and Gatorade because I drank too much last night.
Yeah. Okay, very good.
I just put Fireball in an Arnold Palmer. I'm gonna level.
Awesome.
Well, that's classy.
Yeah, we got.
I didn't know we were with a socialite.
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost.
We're back to the undersea base of the Decepticons. It feels like we could take a pause for a second. And Caleb, I feel like you had a little something.
Okay, is
this for all of us or just for Hayley and Bono? How does this work?
We've actually just returned from a real break while we're recording, and so while we're at
behind the curtain.
Sorry, I'm going to go ahead and do a trivia game for you guys to kind of break it up a little bit while we're in the thick of things. And so I'm going to have a trivia game. There's 5 questions. It's multiple choice.
Oh,
and
boy.
you're gonna have to
keep our own score.
You have to keep your own score, and the winner wins nothing other than bragging rights. But bragging rights are important, in my opinion.
You get a Marvel no prize.
Right. So this trivia game, I was trying to think of a trivia game that is, relevant to who we have on the show. Both of you are into costuming, and so this trivia game, I'm calling So Sue Me, S-E-W, So Sue Me.
Do you catch it?
Do you get it?
It's trivia about Isaac Merritt Singer. Do you guys know who Isaac Merritt Singer is?
Like Singer sewing machines?
That's right. This is going to be a trivia about the inventor of the Singer sewing machine. And
oh my god.
To our
very compelling trivia game.
Whenever Caleb was talking about this, I stopped reading it because I knew he was making a game. But he talked about this guy, and I glanced at this Wikipedia page. This fucker's wild.
Yeah. So I have a educational background in visual arts, but also in history. So I was trying to find something that's kind of historically interesting, and it's normally not related to Transformers, but it's tangential to our guests on the show. So this is a trivia game, So Sue Me, about Isaac Merritt Singer, and he was an American inventor, an actor, and a businessman. He made important...
Like Ashton Kutcher.
Right. Sure.
Just like him.
Yeah, exactly. He made important improvements in the design of the sewing machine and was the founder of what became one of the first American multinational businesses known as the Singer Sewing Machine Company. So, Bono, do you own a Singer sewing machine? Or what kind of sewing machine do you have?
So, I don't. Singer was my first machine, but they simply cannot... Actually, that's a bold-faced lie. I have a Singer Industrial still.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do.
I have a Singer.
You have a Singer?
Yep.
I grew up. My mom had a Sears Roebuck model of some sort. I don't know if it was a Singer or not, but boom.
Here we go.
A lot of people.
Big old S right in your face.
So there's a Singer. All right. So there's 5.
I used to have a Singer,
You
and then Bono, it was falling apart, and Bono told me she would no longer help me sew if I was still using it, and made me buy a new sewing machine.
Really?
Oh.
Interesting.
There's a boycott on Singers. All right.
So.
Not on all Singers, just the shitty one I had.
Just
we had a really bad one.
Just that one.
A $60 machine.
Hey, they need one for the people.
Singer sewing machines. You guys have them. You love them. You hate them.
Some models more than others.
So anyway, I've got 5 questions. It's a multiple choice answer. Keep score yourselves, and we can tabulate it at the end of this. Okay. Question 1, and I should mention, these questions are long.
Oh God!
because I'm trying to cover a lot here. All right, so here we go. Bear with me. Question 1. An aspiring stage actor, Isaac Singer, ran away from home at age 12 to join a traveling stage act called the Rochester Players. A few years later, at 19, Singer married 15-year-old Catherine Mariah Hayley. The couple had 2 children. Then he left them to join which traveling theater group? Was it A? By the way, I should mention Isaac Singer's a piece of shit.
He is. He is a piece of shit.
He left them to join which traveling theater group? Was it A, the Philadelphia Pratfallers, B, the Baltimore Strolling Players, C, the Stanford Syphilis Spreaders, or D, the New England Patriots? I can reread.
Give us those one more time.
All right. A, the Philadelphia Pratfallers, B, the Baltimore Strolling Players, C, the Stanford Syphilis Spreaders, or D, the New England Patriots?
I'm gonna go with A.
Don't just record your answer. Just record your answer.
Okay.
Don't tell us yet.
Hold on. You got it. All right. So I'm gonna
tell us the rules of the game.
So I'm gonna make my rounds. Ryan, what did you answer?
I put B.
B. Aaron.
They're strollers. So.
Yeah.
B.
Aaron, B. Hayley.
A.
And Bono.
I'll go with A.
All right. The correct answer is B, the Baltimore Strolling Players.
I answered that just because strolling players sounds like an old-timey thing somebody would name.
It really does.
Yeah. Okay.
What was A again? Like that?
The Philadelphia Pratfallers.
Yeah, I like that as a name, but I just don't think you would name your group after a pratfall.
I made that up.
Oh, yeah. Well, I knew one of them was an NFL team, so I at least knew that.
Yeah. I would argue, though, that the New England Patriots are a traveling theater group at this point.
Zing!
Whoa.
Get him, Caleb.
Political.
Yeah, okay. So, question 2. By the 1850s, Singer was involved in sewing machine manufacturing and had improved upon existing sewing machine models. One improvement was the use of a mechanical single needle stitch technique known as A, the lock stitch, B, the cross stitch, C, the chain stitch, or D, the double knot. I will repeat that. One improvement that he had with his sewing machine was the use of a mechanical single needle stitch technique known as the lock stitch, the cross stitch, the chain stitch, or the double knot. Let me know when you guys
I've got my answer locked in.
All right, Ryan.
Locked in.
What's your answer?
I went with A.
A, lock stitch. Aaron?
C, whatever that was.
That was chain stitch.
A stain stitch.
Stain stitch, chain stitch. Hayley, what do you got?
I'm also going C, chain stitch.
And Bono?
C as well.
Okay, interesting. The correct answer is A, a lock stitch.
Well.
I went with chain stitch.
So
because the only machine that I've seen that's a vintage machine is a vintage chain stitch machine.
that's fascinating. Actually,
how the turntables.
Yeah, how the turntables.
That's why my sewing knowledge.
So the mechanical lock stitch technique was previously patented by a gentleman named Elias Howe. Howe was forced to defend his patent in a court case because Singer perfected, aka stole, a facsimile of his machine and was selling it with the same lock stitch that Howe had invented and patented. But thankfully, Howe won the dispute and earned a considerable amount of royalties from Singer for all the sales of his invention. So it was a lock stitch technique that was revolutionary. Question 3.
All right, we're just at 3. Let's
come on, 3. Give me a break, dude.
I'm just kidding. I had a 10-question celebrity.
Yeah, all right. Question 3.
I live in a glass house.
Question 3. Singer's prototype sewing machine became the first to work in a practical way. It could sew 900 stitches a minute, far better than the 40 stitches per minute of an accomplished seamstress on multiple work. This started the industrialization of garment and textile manufacturing, as a shirt normally took an hour to make with a machine compared to approximately how much time previously by hand.
Oh.
Was it A, 4 hours, B, 8 hours, C, 15 hours, or D, 30 hours? So
how long did it take to make a shirt by hand?
Yeah, the machine allowed it to be an hour.
An hour.
Now before that, it took how long? A, 4 hours, B, 8 hours, C, 15 hours, or D, 30 hours? Ryan?
I went with C.
Same here.
Aaron? C. Haley?
B.
Bono?
I'm going to go with C.
Okay. The correct answer is C, 15 hours. It reduced the amount of manufacture time for a shirt from 15 hours to 1 hour. That's huge.
Pretty big scale.
Yeah. And even a kid could use it.
Yeah. Question 4.
All right.
This one's a long one,
God.
but it's pretty it reads like a soap opera, so just check this shit out. Question 4. Financial success allowed Singer to buy a mansion on Fifth Avenue, into which he moved his second family. He and his second wife, Mary Ann, had abandoned their joint acting company, the Merit Players, as his inventions were more successful. He continued to live with Mary Ann until she spotted him driving down Fifth Avenue, seated beside Mary McGonagall, an employee about whom Mary Ann had already had suspicions. And reportedly, Singer also had an affair with McGonagall's sister, Kate McGonagall. And together, Mary McGonagall and Isaac were the parents of many children. At this point, Mary Ann, still calling herself Mrs. I. M. Singer, had her husband arrested for A, murder, B, drunkenness, C, bigamy, or D, everything.
Ooh,
so she's pissed off. She sees her husband riding his, whatever this, I guess a cart, around town with another woman, which he is already having children with. And so she has him arrested for A, murder, B, drunkenness.
But is he legally married to her?
Yes.
Or is he illegally married to the
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. I just know the question.
Well, that's the bigamy part. That's why I asked.
So, fair enough. Ryan, what is... So, A, murder, B... God damn it.
Oh, sorry.
A, murder, B, drunkenness, C, bigamy, or D, everything. Ryan.
I just went with bigamy, C.
Aaron?
I'm going to go with everything. What was that, E?
She arrested him for everything?
Yeah, she arrested him for everything.
All right, Haley?
Oh, I'm definitely going A. Go big or go home. It's fucking murder.
All right, and Bono?
I'm going to go with C.
Yeah, the correct answer is bigamy.
Bigamy? That's big of you.
Yeah. So,
are you Red Fox? What
yes.
was that?
Hey, dummy.
So Singer was arrested on bigamy. He was let out on bond and, disgraced, fled to London, taking Mary McGonagall with him.
Oh my God.
Okay. And in the aftermath, another of Isaac's families was discovered. He had another wife,
Jesus,
Mary Eastwood Walters, a machine demonstrator, and he had children with her as well. Which leads us to the last...
He's a 19th century fuckboy.
Which leads us to the last question. Question 5. Singer died in 1875, a millionaire, dividing his $13 million fortune unequally among his living children by his wives and various mistresses, although one son, who had supported his mother in their divorce, he received only $500. Altogether, he is known to have fathered how many children with how many women? Is it A, 8 children with 2 women, B, 17 children with 4 women, C, 24 children with 5 women, or D, 101 Dalmatians with 1 tired bitch? So sue me!
The fact that we know it's not A, every other answer is outrageous.
You want me to reread those? I don't have to.
What is B and C again?
B is 17 children with 4 women, and C is 24 children with 5 women.
Woo! Okay.
What you got, Ryan?
It's one of those.
I went with C.
Aaron?
Let's go crazy. C. Plant that seed.
Hayley?
Absolutely C.
Bono?
C as well.
That gentleman had 24 children with 5 women. Think about that next time, Bono, when you're on that sewing machine. All right?
Shirts you could make with 25 kids on sewing machine.
It's true, especially in the early 1900s.
You know,
15 for one.
It's interesting how much his machine, like, I don't know if his machine reduced or contributed
or increased child labor.
Anywho,
it gave the ability for more children to get in the game.
All right, so to wrap this up, Ryan, how many questions did you get correct?
I got every single one.
Ryan got every question. 5 for 5.
About it.
Aaron,
yeah, I did not get 5 for 5.
What'd you get?
2. Or no, 3. 3 for
3
5.
for 5. Haley.
I got a solid 1. That last one.
Okay.
That was your one. The one you went big for all of them.
And then Bono.
Yeah, I went big and I went home.
3 for 5. So our winner is Ryan Jett.
I get the no
5
prize.
For 5. You get the no prize. Congratulations. You know a lot about a very terrible person.
I'm good at guessing your answers.
That's Isaac Singer, and
It's amazing.
Done with that.
What a weird fucking
So sue me.
Ryan, do you have a musical cue?
I'll find something 70s to put in there.
Can you imagine juggling like 3? That's just
Man, when you look into any
psychotic.
I mean, it's still currently the same, but if you look into any, especially back in the 18th and 19th century, like successful businessmen, they're all fucking horrible human beings.
Yeah. Well, yes, it's unfortunate.
You know, capitalism was way better before regulation.
So that's your takeaway.
Yeah, I mean, like you got all these like awesome hot wives and shit. Like,
Do whatever you want.
Yeah, fuck yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Make your sewing machine.
That's satire.
Moving on to the Golden Lagoon.
I think you just said GALOON.
I did.
Okay,
I'm
getting a little drunk. I'm not gonna lie. I personally, I can't be mad at Caleb.
Your golden doubloon. I was like, pirates?
I love the Golden Doubloon. It's my favorite episode of the Transformers.
All right, everybody, shut up.
All right.
We're taking a brief trip back to the evil undersea base of our Decepticon friends. The Decepticons are telling legions of boastful stories of their battle prowess, and the Decepticons are, Starscream in particular, is very charged up. He's going to bring Perceptor and Sea Spray in for a forced duel, a fight to the finish, he says,
pretty dark.
for the amusement of all of our sun-kissed seekers. Soundwave, the goody two-shoes of the group, he doesn't want any part of this, and if Megatron's not in the know, he's gonna rat it out. And Starscream, but he doesn't give a fuck about any of that shit. He's based. Starscream is based as fuck.
Okay, does this feel like anyone else, like that moment when like your mom's not home and like you're about to do something cool and then the middle child is like, wait, no, we shouldn't do this unless mom would approve of it, because that's exactly
like
what
have your
reads.
pets fight to the death.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Starscream does announce like several times that he is Starscream and give us like a little bio there. Where he's like, just in case you're just
so we know it's Starscream.
I am still Starscream.
Here's my question: why aren't you guys attacking the Ark?
No. Shh. That would make sense.
No, because it's more interesting to give Autobots guns, apparently.
Yeah, the giving of the guns. You could at least give them melee weapons, but no, they just hand them straight up pistols.
The giving of the guns. We're going to transition immediately back to Omega Supreme, and Smokescreen hooks back up with him.
He's looking pretty fucked up.
And he's begging for assistance. Obi-Wan isn't around, so Omega is their only hope. Whoop. And that was a Star Wars wipe. Jinx personal. Meanwhile, Beach Boy returns to the lagoon. The damage it has suffered is quite notable. Beachcomber observes Megatron and some of his fellow Decepticons skinny dipping in this buttery basin, but Soundwave, as he's starting to report Tattletale, in my opinion, on Starscream's activity, Blitzwing discovers Beachcomber and captures him.
I will say, I feel like this second act drags a little bit. Like right here, for me, it dragged a little in the middle. I guess just because the whole rest of the episode is so like go go go. It's just there's.
Well, it's because the middle rehashes the same thing. It's like, okay, now we're gonna have another dip in the pond. There's another pointless conflict.
There's a lot of dips in the pond.
Yeah.
You gotta refresh it. You need that new glisten.
I do also like Omega Supreme says failure impossible.
Oh, Omega Supreme says 3 lines in this whole thing, and they're all very like pointed, like this is what's going to happen, and then none of them happen.
We'll get to it in a second, but his second line, I think it's the second line where he just says results disappointing. That's my favorite.
He's not upset. He's just disappointed.
Yeah. It's just so matter of fact. It's like Wes and I were talking about my favorite response to an issue being like, yeah, that's a problem.
No emotion, just hear the facts. Meanwhile, Beach Boy returns to the lagoon. The damage it has suffered is... Wait a minute. Did I not have this conversation already? Hang on a minute.
Maybe.
You jump
I
out.
think I did. I'm way
The
confused.
Beachcomber's plan is jump out and scream Megatron. Like, what?
He is one person. He knows they're all invincible, and he's hiding, and so then he jumps out into the open and screams Megatron.
And he is the only Autobot who knows where this place is.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
You have one job, and it's don't get
He
captured.
refuses to tell anybody about
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
It's finally happened. We've reached the point in the show
irritating.
where our guests are helping us get through the episode.
Caleb is coming
Whoa.
in with the hardcore snark.
It's finally happened.
That's what's finally happened. Perceptor and Sea Spray we're back to the undersea base of the Decepticons, by the way, and Perceptor and Sea Spray are facing off in this compelling duel. They have a plan, which is to fire into the ceiling, causing debris to drop on the Decepticons, giving them the opportunity to escape, which works about
Not
25%.
Yeah, not so much.
As the Decepticons are all distracted, you've got Megatron and his team of people that show up and they throw Beachcomber into the mix.
It sounds like you're trying to sell me a prescription.
The way they just toss Beachcomber.
They just throw them down. They are not threatened by these Autobots at all.
I mean, who would be?
I mean, it's
I would
Perceptor and
Yes,
Sea Spray.
It's so, they don't,
and Beachcomber for that matter.
Like, wow, what a crack team.
Yeah.
That's you're building up the army and you're building up the character roster just from a creative point of view, and you just come up with all these kind of
I would
bozos.
I would say, I'm not that impressed with the Decepticons for catching such a shit crew of guys.
This is again. I just go back to, why are you guys dicking around? We're gonna do it again, where they go and attack Omega Supreme. I'm like, why are these incremental steps? Go attack the Ark.
Yeah.
No, that would make sense.
No.
To your point, Megatron is commanding attack on Omega Supreme at this point. They're not going to the Ark. It's Omega Supreme is the one they must take down. The enemy armada makes its way towards the tank-headed Titan. For all his power, Omega cannot take the Decepticons out, for they are coated in golden Godhood. Megatron goes into rifle mode, finishes him off for the commercial.
This is where I realized, man, this episode is super violent. Like,
Yeah.
like a lot of Autobots get really fucked up. It's,
Also, one of my favorite things that is an ongoing thing where Seekers forget they can fly.
Yeah.
Is an ongoing issue. They just fall constantly. I'm like, you have
Right.
jetpacks for feet. Please.
Right.
I'm begging you.
we talk about that a lot. The Dinobots have the same problem.
Yeah, it's just like, it's just anytime it's convenient to take a tumble, they forget.
I assume they figure that out off camera.
Oh, yeah. Like, just the fact that they fall at all is like, okay.
Yeah, you'd think that as a seeker, your like base like instinct would just be you automatically float.
Response even should just be flight.
Yeah.
I guess I missed that Omega Supreme turned his head around and shot his cannon face
I love that.
at everybody. Cool. But then when Megatron knocks him out and he falls down backwards, his face is still backwards.
No, that's good. They stayed true to
they did. I just forgot that he had a tank face to begin with, even though it's
old tank face.
Clearly 10 or 15 seconds of the screen.
It's weird.
He does Rumble's bit.
Are you just replaying this over and over again?
Mm-hmm.
This
is Caleb. I do this all the time.
All right.
Well, I think we have a quantum leap situation.
Who's in whose body?
Oh boy.
Devastator.
The boys.
I'd like to see Devastator go against Omega Supreme. That'd be a good matchup.
Wait for it.
Yeah, you don't even probably have to hold your breath.
Really?
I'm sure that's happening.
It's happening pretty soon.
Really?
In the next couple episodes we review.
Caleb, you're going to find out they're rivals. How do you feel about that?
But they were also they were once friends.
What? Really?
Despite their
I love how surprised Caleb is at everything.
You like it. I'm genuine. I'm like,
I know.
That's cool.
All right, we're back from break. Omega Supreme fallen. Megatron, he's setting his sights for the Autobot base. Maybe something he could have just
done immediately.
It's going to be the final showdown. Luckily, Teletran 1 sees the attack coming, and it knows that the source of the Decepticons' power is Electrum. Optimus Prime knows this substance. From what and where, we know not, but the survey teams must go. If there is Electrum, we must find it. Again, where was Beachcomber?
I understand that, like you guys said, he didn't even trust the Autobots to have access to the Electrum. But once he knows the Decepticons have it, why he didn't tell Prime is confusing to me.
And he knew the Decepticons had it from the very beginning of the episode.
Yeah. Why didn't Thrust just take command?
And he never actually outlines that he doesn't trust the Autobots. We're just inferring that because he doesn't do that.
Yeah. I think that's implied.
It's implied, but not heavily.
All right.
I don't know.
I mean, he does just leave his friends to fight a battle and go find a pond. So he's not great.
No.
Thinking of the team.
And can we talk about real quick that Ironhide asks Optimus, "Hey, what's Electrum?" And then when Optimus tells him "Oh, I know what that is. Go find it." And then he just drives away. There's no point where Optimus explains what it is. Just
Dad.
Yeah, just go find whatever Electrum is. I know what it is. I won't tell you. Go.
All right.
If I were Beachcomber, I wouldn't want Ironhide to know what Electrum is.
Fair point.
No one wants to explain anything to Ironhide.
Electrum. Yes. Send out survey teams at once.
Prime just said Electrum. Yes. Something awesome just happened.
So yes.
I haven't had Electrum since the Golden Age.
Prime is a frat boy to me all of a sudden.
Oh, no.
Real?
They're all drinking Electrum out of red cups.
At some point, we're going to see Power Glide washing ashore. He took the sea route back to the shore that he was at before. He sees Decepticons flying overhead, and despite the fact that he couldn't fly just a second ago, he transforms and flies and follows them, and Power Glide discovers the lagoon. With the Decepticons' mysterious metallic armor determined, Power Glide is the one who is going to make his way back to the Autobots and tell them that this exists.
I love that every time they get out of the pool, somebody shoots somebody.
They gotta prove.
Yeah.
Listen,
the more I watch this, the more I realize Beachcomber is the villain.
He's not good. He's not a good guy. He really dropped the ball.
He's just a virtue signaler. He's not really trying to contribute to the cause.
He's gonna help a little bit later.
It's true.
Not much, but he does this much.
Yeah.
All right, we're back at the undersea base. The Decepticons are making final preparations. They couldn't just go to Autobot.
Nope.
They're we're gonna go fight Omega Supreme. for a little bit, and then we're gonna come back to our normal base and just kick
this
it.
part.
And that's where we're gonna assume it's Thundercracker and Skywarp, and you don't have to be weird about what your association is.
Thank you.
Who is who?
Which between Thundercracker and Skywarp, which one's the gold one?
Yeah.
Which one has the shinier cockpit cleavage? I don't know.
It's Skywarp. Next question.
They open Beachcomber's cell.
This fucking trope.
To harass him, but Beachcomber is.
Before they do, though, they pop off their arm rifles. Like, would hate someone to steal this. Pop.
Yeah, why?
Yes.
Why, down before. What's wrong with you?
Let's make this less easy to use.
By the way, I think the new Masterpiece Seekers that are coming out can do that. They are doing like a pop-off handheld rifle gimmick. But...
a lot of them have been able to do that, but mostly for the sake of transformation. And so I wonder if that's one of those things that's like, the toy informed the cartoon where it's because let me tell you, they fall off constantly.
Right.
So they're like, well, it's a feature.
Right.
They're in the cell. Beachcomber is hiding in the ceiling.
This jail trope is hilarious to me.
Nobody ever looks up.
Where Beachcomber's hiding in the ceiling. I'm surprised that like fucking Perceptor and who is it, Sea Spray, they didn't do the old, hey, jail guard, we got a sick man in here. Like that's how
I just think it's insane. Okay, so they've already established that these guys are invincible. All he has to do is fall on top of one, and then they're out for the rest of the show.
Right.
Yeah, that didn't even occur to me when I watched this, but you're so right.
Beachcomber might be the deadliest character, and we're just discovering it. First of all, how did he get up to that ceiling? What did he climb? Second of all,
he was so high off the
floated up.
Yeah,
it's true. He takes out, and the Seekers are supposedly some of the most powerful Decepticons. He pretty hand to hand easily takes out both these dudes who have been powered up with Electrum. It's quite crazy.
And one of them he has the drop on, so he's on the ceiling and falls on one of them. The second one, there's no excuse.
Mm-hmm.
He probably does Pilates.
That makes sense then. That would explain it. Wait. A lot of water and does Pilates.
Yeah.
I do Pilates. How many Seekers can I take out?
Yes, exactly.
That's up to you.
Okay, so we've determined that Beachcomber does Kegels, and he jumps from the ceiling. We've already talked about how they take off and do a rifle, but they both do that, which is curious to me. Why is that? Also, it kind of looks like he's holding his cock. Hang on a second here.
What happened to being a family-friendly show when we were trying to talk shit?
No, wait. When I bring up stuff, it's a family-friendly show. When Aaron does it,
that's called the hierarchy.
That's the old golden double standard.
Yeah, get used to it, ladies. But seriously, it kind of looks like he's holding his dick. But the other one shows up. He does the same thing. There's no reason to do that from a tactile. Like he takes it off his arm.
I mean, it's purely so they can have him in a little bit. But yeah it's weird.
But the weirdest part of that is they only end up with one because neither Perceptor nor Sea Spray takes one. They take them later.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's like super pointless, actually.
Yeah,
it's true.
They escape.
They shoot out a window. I don't know why the Decepticons need a wind. I guess it is a ship, so yeah, it's just in the ocean. But yeah, they swim out through a window.
It's like the one window. Look at this giant spaceship, which is undersea, and it just has a window right here on the ass end of it.
And then thank God
the window is right next to the jail cell.
It's in the hallway with the jail cell.
It feels very convenient. But off they go. The Decepticons are going to depart. And
finally,
it's time.
They decide to attack the Ark.
It's time to embark in conflict. Meanwhile, Perceptor, Beachcomber, and Sea Spray, from here on out known as the Trine Seacomceptor,
you're fired,
make their way to the lagoon. They choke out Dirge.
Also, talking about things that should have happened sooner, like barreling this up, y'all have taken at least 4 dips in this.
Mm-hmm.
That should have maybe been dip 2.
Right.
Right. We take this with us now.
I think that was...
Also, So Dirge is sitting there alone, and they drop off all these barrels and start driving away. He's like, "Wait, don't leave me alone with it." And it's like, you already were.
You were already. Hey, look, the main cast is here.
Finally the big boys.
The season 1 saviors, as I like to call them. They're showing up to save the day, and at this point, they all take a dip in the
Yay!
lagoon.
This is where I was like, I wish Spike was with them so he could drown.
But they.
Would it be like a Game of Thrones season 1?
I don't watch
drowning the Targaryen brother.
This is the part. Okay, so the Decepticons attack the Ark. The Autobots have actually set up dummies.
Instead of just closing the door.
Every time the Autobots use the tactic deploy dummies, I'm like, gets the Decepticons every time.
It does. As smart as the Decepticons are and as dumb as the Autobots are, the dummy trick always seems to throw the Decepticons
It always works. I love it.
every time.
It made me think of, I think it was the Ultimate Doom.
Which is kind of in a weird way, it's sad for the Autobots that the Decepticons have assumed that the Autobots are just like
standing
around, not doing anything.
And but they're also saying that the technology or whatever inside the Ark is not worth leaving a couple guys behind to go.
Oh yeah,
check that out.
There's some dummies
like
there,
Rumble and Frenzy. You shitheads actually steal shit from their base or do what?
Right. We all know that.
Can't be Rumble and Frenzy. They're not going to be able to reach any of the buttons.
Right. It's true.
Oh god, this fight is so like what? This is the ultimate exercise in nihilism. Like, what is the point of this?
Yeah, I don't know if I made it clear that the Decepticons realized that the whole dummy thing was a ruse. They know that they need to go back to the lagoon, but it's too late for these piss-stained pinheads.
The Autobots. You really like the idea.
Man,
of the
really
golden
nailing
shower.
home the
really driving home the golden shower.
The Autobots are already lathered up in 50 SPF banana boat lotion.
Come on.
They're ready for the fight. Even Omega Supreme is protected by the honey-hued husk.
Sweet action. There he is, yep.
And fight they do. The Decepticons are furious that the secrets of their fake tan would be used against them. But in a fight where there can be no winners, there can also be only losers.
Yes, that's true. And
I read that totally wrong.
You did?
It's okay, I like it.
Who's the loser here, Aaron? Wild guess.
Well, we know it's the environment around them, Caleb. Yeah. Seriously, why do they keep shooting each other?
What's that? Yeah, so the Electrum starts wearing off the Decepticons.
And Blitzwing executes his trademark move again of turn into a tank before you're anywhere near the ground.
Yeah, he was like hundreds of feet in the air, maybe.
I'm going to be a tank now.
It's like he could pull back and actually land the tank. But it really doesn't make sense that they just keep shooting lasers at each other, right? They all know the lasers don't work against each other.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And they're all destroying. This is where the Autobots are culpable for this environmental disaster.
Well, Beachcomber hasn't told them that if you just like tackle them, they will be down for the count yet.
Right.
Yeah.
So
you just got to choke these people out. Lasers are bouncing from robots.
This fight
into
is
trees.
pretty cool. It's a good fight.
It's animated.
Everything's being destroyed. The Electrum eventually is fading off the Decepticons, leaving them vulnerable to attack. The Autobots are pressing their advantage. Megatron, ever vindictive, tells his troops to focus on the lagoon. If they can't have it, no one will. And they succeed in destroying it. They destroy about everything within a 10-acre area, and they retreat.
How flammable this lagoon apparently is.
Very.
The fact that a stray blast shot didn't hit that at any point before now and blow them all to hell.
Yeah.
Unreal.
The fact that it makes you invincible, but in liquid form, it's just insanely flammable, and it takes 6 shots to blow up.
Yes.
And also, it's on your body. Why isn't it blowing up on your body when somebody shoots you?
Oh, that's a great point. And then we have a real sad ending where Beachcomber's just sitting around.
It's a big it's
dread.
The Autobots,
win.
Honestly, it's the most iconic part of the episode. The Autobots celebrate their victory. There's a big cheering scene, But then you've got Beachcomber. He's morose. He's overlooking this ruined landscape, and he just says,
"We won."
And it's it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah. It's such a weird tone to end an episode on, because there's no like moral after that. There's no like we won, but at what cost? And then you bring some closure to that.
Yeah,
it's just like Beachcomber's ongoing nightmare.
So, and it's the only episode that even insinuates the Autobots
are culpable.
Don't have it all together. Right. There are bad things that can happen from the Autobots' actions.
Yeah, it's a weird episode, and I like it a lot.
Yeah. I appreciate their effort to try to make a message here, but it seems
lost.
Like
much like Mirage, the message is lost.
Yeah.
Mirage is the strangest.
Just shoehorned in there.
Yeah.
So that's the end of the proper episode. Yeah, I know, Bono, you collect third-party Transformers. What are you eating also? Let's get down.
I don't eat anything.
No, hang on. What are you eating?
Don't call her out.
Hang on a second. No.
I have Chang's. It's delicious.
Very good.
How was that brought to you?
Yeah, Mandy brought this to me.
Very sweet.
We have very good significant others.
Well, I do. My significant other brought all y'all some food.
Wow, all right.
She's good. Thank you.
I'm sitting here starving. I really need to get a wife or a girlfriend or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say you should have married less of a deadbeat.
Poor Hayley.
Where? Yeah. Why isn't your boo putting food in your face?
You tell me. I'll give you his number.
Like, that can't work. Step one.
Listen, I don't want to get in between all this.
So
no, let me make fun of my older brother. It's good.
I'm sure
he deserves it.
The one thing I'll share, and let me get back into screen sharing mode here. By the way, do feel free, Hayley, to eat. I know I'm very happy that Bono didn't realize how rude it is to eat on camera, because she should.
What?
It gives a shit. What the?
Yeah.
Hey, Miss Manners.
Oh, I don't care. I was like, I'll mute myself so you don't have ASMR noodle slurping. But
I keep pushing this on everyone, but you guys should really check out Midnight Diner on Netflix.
Jesus Christ.
I'll check it out just for you, Caleb.
Thank you. Midnight Diner.
It's the kind of show that you just drink a normal good beer to.
Oh, yes.
What does that mean?
Because Caleb, that's his drink. He's just a normal beer.
There is a third-party Transformer company called X-Transbots. They made a Beachcomber, and the cool thing about that Beachcomber is it came with these. I owned this. I actually just sold it recently because a new one came out that I like better. But this one had.
Wait! You sold it to someone who wasn't me.
Well, I put it on eBay. It was available to you and everybody in the world.
In the world.
Okay.
You had your chance.
But it's pretty cool because it comes with these little birds. Also, let me see here. It also comes with a golden hand that you could replace.
Oh, that's cool.
Good.
His normal hand with.
Okay, wait. So you said you sold that because something cooler came out? What was the cooler thing that came out?
Well, the Fans Toys Beachcomber came out. It's just more cartoon accurate than the X-Transbot version, but it didn't come with the cool birds or the golden hand, but he just looks better to me.
In the real world.
Hey.
What happened in the real world, Ryan?
The Golden Lagoon aired November 4th, 19...
I keep trying to pour myself a glass of wine, but I leave the lid on it. And Ryan, Ryan caught me doing it earlier, and he was very kind not to call me out on it, but only we had this moment of eye contact where he knew I was an idiot, but he was a gentleman about it.
So real quick, kind of related, I had my mask on today, and I came into the house and forgot I had my mask on. And I was talking to my son. I grabbed some peanut M&Ms and I put some in my hand, and I did like this, and they hit against my mask and fell on the floor.
One of the cosplays that I regularly do is she has like a half face mask, and it's not attached by anything, so I have to just tape it on and it's just there forever.
Right.
And I got really drunk at Dragon Con at the aquarium bar, and literally just full cocktail through my mask.
Oh my God.
And the next time I wore the costume, I didn't think about it. And then I put the mask on and I was like, oh, the fumes. I'm going to get contact drunk again.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
But I have done that where you get home from somewhere and you're like, I just need a fucking beer. And you open the beer. I've poured beer down my face because I was wearing a mask.
How fast are you sprinting to the fridge to grab a beer?
When I get home, I'm ready to eat chocolate and drink alcohol.
I've always said you're a real Kathy.
What?
I have had Hayley arrive to my home and not say hi to me before she is in my fridge drinking my beer. And I'm like, thank you, Shelton. Yeah. So I'm acting very fast.
First off, bold of you to assume that it's your beer and not beer that I had previously bought and just left in your fridge. Because let's compare where your beer comes from.
That's fair.
That's right. Don't judge me.
Okay, back to the real world. That was a good.
Yeah.
That is the real world, baby.
Kind of the real world.
The Golden Lagoon aired November 4th, 1985. In the American Top 40, for this week we have another new entry. Season 2, for you guys, if you don't know, like, is so large that we usually have to find another example because it airs like 5 times a week. So there's repeats all the time of like trying to find something. This week, it was the Miami Vice theme by Jan Hammer, and it is fucking awesome.
Jan Hammer?
Yeah, I don't know if that's his real name, but that's a pretty awesome name. I think.
If I ever heard it. So the number 1 song was the theme song from the Miami Vice television show.
Yes, that's the Miami Vice theme, which is really strange to have like. Yeah. So the Miami Vice show was so popular, they released an album of the music from the show. This song, along with Glenn Frey's number 1 hit, "You Belong to the City," which we covered. Caleb, that's what you were talking about. Right. Made the Miami Vice soundtrack the top U.S. album for 11 weeks in 1985.
That's big.
It was the most monetarily successful soundtrack of all time until Disney Channel's High School Musical beat the record in 2006.
And the thing is on constant rotation at my house,
that's
so
big.
I hear that.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Miami Vice was such a huge show that its theme song made a number 1 song for 11 weeks.
Oh yeah, it was the last instrumental song to hit the top 100 until 2013 when Harlem Shake topped the charts.
That's really big. That's fucking huge.
Wow.
That's I guess
Harlem
there's
Shake
no rapping.
And Harlem Shake was boosted because it was a YouTube,
mm-hmm.
It was a meme.
like meme.
Number 1 at the box office this week. This week in 1985, the number 1 movie was Death Wish 3, which we've talked about on a previous episode. I picked another movie from 1985, an animated feature that has some interesting connections, which is Rainbow Bright and the Star Stealer.
Oh.
Have any of you guys seen this movie?
No.
Nope.
No, but it sounds adorable.
The Star Stealer.
The Star Stealer.
Yeah, this was
what an evil plot.
It was, first of all, I loved this movie as a kid. And
really?
I was basically exposed to it because I have a sister who's 4 years younger than me. So that's kind of how. The strangest thing is there's actually a reference to it in Death Wish 3.
Really?
There's a theater sign in the movie promoting it in one scene. And also, Peter Cullen plays 6 characters in this movie.
All right.
Wild.
The summary is Rainbow Bright and her magical horse Starlight must stop an evil princess and her underlings from taking over the planet Spectra. When they meet Orin, a wise sprite tries to make the 2 children get along and work together to stop the evil princess. Getting in the way of their mission is the sinister Murky Dismal and his bumbling assistant Lurky, who, as usual, are lavishing in the gloom created by the darkening of Spectra, as well as trying to steal Rainbow's magical color belt.
Murky and Lurky?
Murky Dismal.
This is like...
Yeah, wait. What were Peter Cullen's 4 characters? I need to know.
He had 6 characters. I don't have them all listed. One of them was in the opening scene. Rainbow Bright is racing against another magical girl named Stormy, who controls winter, and they're racing to see if Rainbow Bright can start spring. basically.
And Peter Cullen
Does
voices...
Rainbow Bright have control over the seasons?
I think that is completely in this movie. That's where that I don't think that's canon into the show. That happens in this movie. Okay. And then Peter Cullen voices Sky Dancer, which is Stormy's horse.
How is it that Rainbow Bright, of all the 80s properties, have been kind of like remixed and modernized? Nobody gives a fuck about Rainbow Bright today.
Hey!
Where's Rainbow Bright? Where's she at?
I had a huge crush on Rainbow Bright also.
My sister was a huge Rainbow Bright fan.
I was a child. Not now. When I was a kid, I had a crush on Rainbow Bright.
Oh, really?
We already heard you, and it's on record.
I'm pretty sure there was a Rainbow Bright reboot in like 2013 or 2014, and I don't think it went over well.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think they tried to reboot it, and it was like, anyway, that didn't work great, huh?
Yeah.
It's because they didn't have Captain Marvel.
Brie Larson?
Brie Larson should have played her. If Brie Larson would have played Rainbow Bright, everything would have been different.
I'm into it.
Yeah, I'll see what happens there.
I'll see what happens there. Here's a question. Actually, though, I'm curious because I had a bunch of like cartoon crushes as a kid. Like I had a crush on Fern from Charlotte's Web and Strawberry Shortcake.
Okay.
Did you guys have any crushes on animated characters when you were a kid?
I did. I liked the Misfits.
Oh, from Jim.
Yeah, I did like the Misfits.
I was into Stormer from the Misfits,
And I liked the Baroness from G.I. Joe.
Oh, no. Mine's going to make me sound really weird. Mine was Kofu from The Lion King 2.
Oh, wow.
Who's Kofu?
He was a lion, but he was a very attractive lion.
Sure.
Wait, was he one of like a friend lion? Like
no, he was in the second movie. He was the main guy. He was the Lion King 2 was basically the story of Romeo and Juliet, and so he was raised by I think like Scar's daughter, and then Simba's daughter falls in love with him, and then they have to like convince Scar's crew to be friends with Simba's crew, and then they all become friends.
Yeah.
There he is.
God damn, he is sexy as fuck.
That's pretty cute.
Like that's the Descendants. Like the evil crew and the good crew, they get together.
All right, your turn, Bono.
I had a wicked crush on Gambit from the X-Men.
Oh,
that's understandable. He's got that accent.
He's got the accent.
Cards.
And the boy.
This is going to be very basic. Jessica Rabbit.
Okay.
Yeah. Understandable. Have a great day. Well, I mean, if you want to see something that's completely unsexy, look up the Jessica Rabbit in the Disney parks. It is like true existential horror what they chose to do for her like walk around outfit.
Oh no.
It's weird.
Like it's the Jessica Rabbit that's like in costume walking around Disney.
Yeah.
I asked if I could say this. My girlfriend's choice was the poison monster Hexus from the 1992's Fern Gully.
So specific.
That was a crush she had. It's Tim Curry's voice.
This like beautiful woman. Look at her.
No. I don't want to.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
That's horrifying.
Horrifying in every way.
Yeah,
no.
It changes things when you see them in reality.
That's very strange.
She looks like.
Why not just have it be a real person? Like, why do that?
It could just be
Isn't Snow White a real person? Like,
it is.
Yeah.
She is one of the few like human characters that is not a human, and it's the weirdest choice.
She looks like
they went the wrong direction.
I'm surprised they even have a Jessica Rabbit park walker.
And I think that's why they went that direction with it. Is it's not,
they don't want drunk dads being all weird.
Yeah, pretty much.
She looks like, so there was this doctor who fell in love with one of his patients and dug her up after she was dead and brought her home and preserved her.
That's better than what I was saying.
Preserved her in wax and like kept her for like 20 years, and that's what she looks like.
Right.
Anyway, now that I've unloaded that particular horror that lives in my brain rent free.
Yeah, thanks.
Script deviations.
Man, the script was not available online. So we talked about this writer Dennis Marks before, way back on the garbage episode that was The Core, which is a ACOM episode where Devastator, they're drilling to the core.
To the
yeah.
all the time.
Do either of you guys remember The Core offhand? It's
what happened?
Megatron is trying to drill to the center of the Earth, I think.
Yes.
And Starscream's like, it'll shatter. And then, it's terrible. That was the other episode of Transformers that he wrote. It's a Devastator-centric episode, of course, animated by ACOM. But then which is terrible, but then he wrote this one, which I really enjoy, although this writer, by and large, sounds like an asshole. First of all, in addition to being a writer, he was a magician, so boo.
Great.
You're already boring. You can't trust him.
Especially in the 80s. 80s magicians all had the same kind of sticky shtick. It wasn't until like the 2000s that you got the edgy street, the David Blaine's.
Learning this man as a magician explains everything about Mirage in these episodes.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah, Mirage is the magician.
He should have been. If that were the case, he would have been featured, though.
This also ties in with you having Neil Patrick Harris in our trivia game earlier, who loves magic and is it the Magic Castle that's in L.A.?
He is a member, I think.
So is this guy.
Okay, well, they're probably buddies then.
Well, Dennis Marks is passed.
They were buddies,
but. According to editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics Jim Shooter, Dennis Marks hated comics, and while Marks was at Marvel Productions, hated working on Transformers. We go way into this back in episode 134 when we covered The Core, but it's essentially, the long and the short of it is it's just a story about angry old white guys that don't like each other.
Great.
So that's
what a fun, healthy work environment.
Yeah. He felt. I think he felt that the Transformers was beneath him. I mean, this guy, which is weird because this guy worked a ton. I mean, he worked on Ninja Turtles. He worked on a bunch of stuff in the 60s and 70s, and so I don't know. I guess he just hated Transformers for some reason, but happened to write one of the most iconic episodes that it ever was.
Is he on a lot of other episodes, as far as you know?
That's the only two he did for Transformers.
Okay.
All right. So we can. I'm the ghost of the iconic moment.
Oh God. Well, I mean, there's two of them, right?
You could do two. It's listen.
Okay, yeah. Then I'm gonna go with that first moment where it pans down Beachcomber. I don't know how, I just forgot his name. And he just has all the animals, and there's a fox rubbing against his leg, and he has all the birds on him, and his full Disney princess moment. That's my iconic moment. When I think of this episode, I think of that moment. Number 2 is when all the Decepticons are shooting each other.
Yep. Bono?
I gotta give the iconic moment to Decepticons shooting each other, but I'm gonna specifically go with when Megatron is like, I'm going to enjoy this. Opens fire on Starscream.
I'm going to enjoy not actually hurting you at all.
Well, I don't think he wants to. In the same way as I don't. This is my argument of why he didn't attack the Ark in the first place. Is I don't think he can live in a world without the duality of him and Prime existing. He doesn't want to win, so I think he doesn't want to kill Starscream until he becomes Galvatron later. But then, but yeah, I think it's just it's an enjoyment of the act of killing somebody without doing it.
I'm gonna say my iconic moment is Starscream holding his nose as he jumps into the Golden Lagoon. Because why do you need to hold your?
It's very cute, yeah.
It captures everything about Starscream.
And towing the water. He puts his toe in the water.
Yeah.
God forbid it's cold.
Yes.
That's Starscream in a nutshell.
Yeah, mine was just that whole thing where the Decepticons are all shooting each other like lunatics. Yeah, I mean, what's better than that?
It's free therapy.
Yes.
Your grievances, let's get them out.
I do think that this episode is iconic in the world of Transformers. Everybody remembers, even if they don't remember the specifics of what the plot was. Mm-hmm. They know there was a Golden Lagoon, and they know that people
GALOON.
They dipped in and got gold and were impervious. Why do we think this episode stuck in people's mind to whatever
Good
degree?
question.
I think there's I mean, it's weird, but there is, for me, it's like there's this environmental message that is beyond
very 80s.
Beyond the Autobot Decepticon conflict, that there's like this bigger message.
Environmentalism is the message, though, because it is kind of just like, it happens, and then there's no way we can fix it, and no way we can help, and no way we could have avoided this happening.
Okay. Never mind. This is a pro-neoliberal message.
It's like...
I honestly think that might be one of the reasons that it is kind of just like an iconic and enjoyable episode, is that a lot of times Transformers episodes do follow a formula where there is kind of like Megatron's big bad plan of the week, or like, you know, you're going to have a Megatron Prime showdown, and you're going to have, you know, hijinks involved around that. But there like really isn't in this episode. Like, there isn't a great moral. There isn't I mean, there's several cool fight scenes, but there's kind of like no satisfying conclusion, because it's just, well, the thing wears off and then they blow it up.
Yeah.
So
it's so abrupt. Like, it's just like,
it really does just end.
And so I think it's just, it really breaks the formula of like, and here's the evil plan, and here's that plan in the work, because there is kind of no logic to what happens at any point in this episode, because why doesn't Beachcomber just go tell the Autobots? Why does no one makes any?
And he never explains why he didn't.
Also,
the last sequence should have been like, I didn't tell you guys because I didn't trust.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what happens in a lot of episodes where like they're feature episodes, where this is a Beachcomber featured episode, where it's like Prime talks to them as like, here's what you should have done, and they're like, I'm sorry for what I did. But there's
we know that Beachcomber is still this like leftist subversive that doesn't trust Optimus Prime to do the right thing.
Yeah. Well,
everyone's celebrating, and Beachcomber is sitting on his rock like, oh shucks, we won.
Yeah.
So to that, we were talking in the last episode that we haven't finished recording yet about how there is this really silly MacGuffin called the Voltronic Galaxer. And in our interview with Flint Dilley and in his book, he talks about that episode, the prior one to what we're talking about now, that they reached sort of this tipping point of, are we just going to do these goofy premises for the rest of our career for this show, or are we going to try and start doing different things? And it feels like, maybe I'm reaching, that this is transitional in terms of trying to come up with new ideas that aren't just silly inventions. Something.
But I don't know. I think why this episode is so funny is that like it really is just kind of like a complete net neutral. Like, they don't really try and do anything with it. Like they're like, well, we're gonna go attack the Autobots, but like there's no urgency to that. There's no like, well, we're gonna use it to like rob another country, or like, well, we're gonna use it. Like, there's none of that. They're just like, well, we have it.
It's true.
Or let's go to Omega Supreme first.
Or or even like they don't even try to attack a power plant or anything.
Yeah, which is a classic move. Like, come on.
I just think that once you see a gold seeker, you never really go back, and I think that's why it sticks in everyone's head.
That too, also.
Yeah, is that they're just like, man, but do you remember what Starscream looked like gold?
You remember when Starscream was gold?
Yeah.
That shit was awesome. You guys remember? Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Rate the scheme.
There is no scheme.
The grift was never planned.
We don't even know why the Decepticons were following the Autobots to begin with.
Nope.
Unless they're just creeper peepers.
Should we attack now? No.
I'm gonna give it a 5. I'm just gonna put it in the middle because I don't know what to do.
Yeah. It's
Beachcomber fucked up.
Oh, spectacular.
Yeah, he's the villain of this episode.
Poor guy.
No, because the villain would have had a plan. Yeah. It is like sheer incompetence.
He's guilty by way of just not acting.
Guilty by inaction.
He had plenty. He was smoking pot with his bros over at Omega Supreme, and he could have said anything.
Hey, baby, I saw this. I think the thrust is really invisible.
Thanks for taking over my thing.
I saw high people in college be like, bro, have you ever looked at your hands? There's no reason why he shouldn't have mentioned the fact that his hand is gold.
Yeah. Maybe he just didn't realize. Maybe he's like, they always look weird to me.
All right, Hayley. what would you like to plug? Where can people find you? If you'd like to be found, what do you do? What would you like people to see?
Yeah, so I have a Transformers-specific Twitter because people on my main Twitter got sick of hearing how much I talk about Transformers. So that one is at r_all_dead. And then my name is All Hail Megatron, except it's spelled Hayl, like Hayley, because I'm punny.
Very clever.
Yeah. And then if you want to see my Etsy shop, I'm not sure what the overlap of people here who cosplay versus people listening to this, but I do sell 3D. Yeah, I do sell 3D models of props. Most of it's Fire Emblem. There's a little bit of Transformers, and there will be more Transformers, and then some like Pokemon and some stuff. It is Hayley Cat on Etsy. That's HAYLEYCAD.
Yeah, and you, Aaron, didn't you buy the blaster bottle opener?
I think that was a limited edition.
It was,
baby.
but
nobody can buy that anymore.
Aaron bought that for all three.
I might bring that back. Just for this episode tonight, I'm going to bring it back.
Yeah, and Aaron bought that for all three of us, and you included an APDC logo magnet
awesome.
that was very sweet.
Very
and
cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bono, why don't you tell us all the things?
Easiest place to find me is just on Twitter. I am at Somerset Sows. It's spelled the British way, so it's SOMERSET. Sows is spelled regularly. That's the username I have on everything, but I link out from my Twitter to everything, so it's easiest to find that way. I sell custom cosplay commissions, and hopefully have a YouTube coming soon, except that video editing is surprisingly hard, so we're working on that.
Sure.
Are you trying to figure it out yourself, or what are you using? What program?
I'm using Premiere, and I actually know how to use it, or knew how to use it like a decade ago. And it is a different program than it was a decade ago. So I'm working through it, but it's just like the process is hard. Like, when are you going to talk? When are you going to use voiceover? When are you going to cut in this? And because I'm doing sewing tutorials and things like that. And sometimes it's just very hard to be like, here's how you do this. Here are the words that this means.
Sure.
And then it becomes a tangent of, oh God, I have to explain what a French seam is. I can't just say that.
Right.
Trying to create
it's just like word trees of like, well, here's what this is, here's what this is, here's what this is.
And from a tutorial standpoint, you have to be a teacher, which is like a whole like other set of skills.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually what I did in college, was I taught sewing classes to the, like, when I was a senior, I taught the freshman classes. So I'm prepared, but also I'm like, what level of accessibility do you include? How basic do I make it? Do I assume people are going to follow these tutorials, or are people just here to watch? It's a lot. So I'm slowly unpacking that.
Yeah, keep it up though. I mean, keep working through it, and then you'll get there. Why are you laughing at that?
I don't know. It just felt like
it felt so bumper stickery.
I need the help.
I can't say anything sincere on this show anymore.
No,
why would?
Not when it's just mindless platitudes, Caleb.
As you guys are getting a peek behind the curtain of seeing how it actually is when we record, whenever we get angry at each other and say terrible things.
It's messy.
The girls are fighting.
Yeah.
Are you guys planning to do Baltimore if it's a real thing?
Yes.
Hopefully.
Can you be our friends in person, please?
Yes! I don't think you guys understand. Please? Hayley and I were we have a text message chain that was like, how do we trick these dudes into being our friends?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
No, we do.
Well,
you have to go way back, because this is how it went. So you guys started following me on Twitter. I don't know why. I do know why. It's because I had an awesome Shockwave cosplay. And I don't know which one of you guys decided to follow me. I just saw the name Autopod Decepticast. I was like, wow, that is the best name for a podcast I've ever seen in my life. And so I started listening to you guys. I messaged Bono. I think it was episode 3 you guys did.
It was early on.
I can't believe you made it past that. OG. You're an OG.
So you shared with her?
No, yeah. So I share with her because there's a part in episode 3 where you guys are like, oh yeah, you guys were trying to explain fandom shipping, and you guys did not understand.
I have the text. The text says, okay, wait, Autopod Decepticast is incredible. You have to go listen to it. I'm on episode 3, and they're trying to explain slash fiction to one another.
and failing. And
oh gosh,
right. Sounds about right. Yeah. Thank you.
And Yeah, and then we both started listening to it, and then we were just like, okay, so how do we trick these random guys into becoming friends with us? They look hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Doesn't take much.
Extremely successful.
Yeah, as we learned, it doesn't take much, but here we are.
Yeah.
You guys are super talented, amazing, funny people, so it's a privilege
to
call you our friends.
It is true.
We're really, I mean, that's one of the great things about
this whole experience.
The thing that we're doing is meeting people like you guys, and it's exciting. It's exciting to plan into the future when like we can meet up in person and hang out at like a future con.
What do you think, Baltimore? What do you think the chances are? Let's just give it an 80-20. Like, where do you think you are with it?
Literally, what are the dates of that? Because they've canceled so many things that you don't know.
I think it's October. Isn't it?
October.
I think everyone will have that wants a vaccine will have a vaccine.
I would say extremely high. The things that hurt likelihood are TF cons like to put themselves nowhere near a good airport.
Yeah, for real. So, you could have the conference right by the O'Hare,
literally.
Or you could have it out in Aurora. You know,
it boggles my mind that they have it in Rosemont because that's like on top of O'Hare.
Yeah.
In Chicago, I'm like, thank you. I also live right there, so I didn't need this.
We can fly to O'Hare for like under $100.
Yeah. Rosemont is it's just central to everything. So it's like great. But I mean, even TFCon DC was like one of the reasons we backed out of going is we went and dressed up as Transformers at Disneyland instead, like sane people.
Don't blame you. Don't blame you there.
Yeah, I was like, well, I can get into Disney for free, so I'm running.
And you get the photos you can get at Disney are pretty slick.
And then and we were like, it's coming to Chicago the next year.
Right.
It'll be great. And then a pandemic struck.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will be jonesing to go to Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore, I'd say, is extremely high simply because I'm desperate to go back to a TFCon.
Yeah.
And also I refuse to go to LA.
I wonder.
Then we have to start thinking about, are we going to do a panel?
We should. But I wonder after Baltimore if then they'll try to then in 2022 try to cycle in a sense of normalcy where they'll I bet you they'll throw in a Toronto. They
always go to Toronto.
Yeah, but then I wonder if they'll then also try to do Chicago.
The dilemma with Toronto is that because I would absolutely go to TFCon Toronto, except that another convention that I adore that happens in Canada at a resort happens usually like the month before.
Yeah.
In just outside of Toronto, and so like driving to Canada twice.
Sure.
Don't know about that one. But yeah, because I've heard great things about TFCon Toronto and that it's like a good good convention.
I would like to go too because first of all, I've never been to Canada. Period.
And then respect the OG nature of the.
I have. It's you get over the border and everything's so clean. It's like being.
It's like driving into Toontown. It's like driving Roger Rabbit.
No, it's like driving into Europe. It's like driving into Europe. It's weird.
See, my experience crossing the border is you hit the border and then you start panicking because suddenly you realize your car is in miles per hour and you have no idea how to swap that to kilometers and what speed are you going?
Yeah.
And the speed is 100 kilometers per hour, which just doesn't sound right.
That's not a problem in my van. You can't tell which you're going ever.
Yeah,
so.
and you got to be careful with those really mean Canadian policemen too. So,
we didn't like what you were doing there.
I think you
don't do that.
Driving a little fast, eh?
Slow down.
Oh, we all have a Canadian accent. We all want to get our voice acting in today.
Yeah, but I will say when it comes to TFCon Baltimore, it actually depends on when we all get vaccinated, because I feel like if it's right after we get vaccinated, we're for sure going because we're going to be so desperate to get to whatever con.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to make plans to do things at cons, but like the only thing keeping me from going insane is not having plans. I feel like I'm missing.
Right.
Because like the last year of canceling cons and then slowly watching and this group I had with friends fall away and this thing I had with friends fall away, I was like,
yeah. No.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
Okay, hang on. Here's a dream idea. This is one for the podcast.
You guys don't have to commit to any of this. Just
you're committed. Actually,
I'm committed.
It's legal.
You will be hearing from my lawyers.
Here's what we're gonna do. We are going to all human former cosplay together
Yes.
It's got to be Transformers the movie themed. What are we doing? Who are the characters? You guys can assign characters to us.
I mean, you guys already agreed to do Coneheads and then didn't follow through.
Yeah. Ryan definitely once said you guys would do Dirge Thrust and Ramjet, and then we could do Skywarp, Thundercracker, and Starscream.
You guys got the Alpha Seekers?
I feel like
that's fine.
I'm sorry.
I'm fine. I'm fine with being some sort of beta character.
I'm gonna be Dirge.
I'm good.
No,
Okay,
for real, we had to clown with anything.
But that's not Transformers the movie centric. Let's get down to like the real shit. Ryan, who do you want to be?
Who do I want to be?
I mean, I was going to ask them to assign us characters.
Okay,
you know what? You deserve choice.
It's just too much responsibility.
No. They tried to ask us to, and then they didn't like our response of code.
Yeah.
They've already, maybe that was just me. Maybe
that was Aaron. That was unilateral.
They've already told us.
I was being self-conscious.
Grimlock.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
Well, then you shouldn't ask questions to which you do not wish the answer.
I guess in my head, he is a Transformer.
Look at him. He's saying, who do you guys want to be? And then he, why don't you just go ahead, Aaron, and just tell us.
Yeah, tell us what you want.
Let me explain where I was coming from. He is an iconic Transformers the movie character, so it's fair. I was kind of thinking of like the new characters that got involved, but I didn't articulate that, and that's clearly on me.
I got it. Okay, so we're going to make Ryan Grimlock. We're going to make Caleb Dying Optimus Prime, and then let's give Aaron a Sharkticon.
Wow, that's awesome. I love it.
I mean, I love that.
I'm a Dying Optimus Prime. That's really cool.
With no rationale whatsoever, I guess I'm on board.
If I had to choose a character, if I had to choose a character to be there, I'd be
Wheelie.
No, I'd be Rodimus. And I'd be constantly like fumbling the Matrix trying to fit it into my chest, and it would be falling out all the time. Like,
wait. That would be a fantastic trio. Is Ultra Magnus, Dying Optimus, and Rodimus all passing the Matrix?
It's just awkward.
Just like Keystone Cops, like.
Well, then who are you all going to be to support us? I mean, this isn't just a trio.
I think
we're all Sharkticons
they'd
now.
Be all great.
That is
made it easy.
In and of itself, that's an amazing sentence. We're all Sharkticons now.
They'd be something. They'd be something fierce for sure. I mean, they'd be Sharkticons or Quintessons or.
That's the key. Is we can't assign you a character to cosplay because you have to be passionate about it. That's what makes it fun.
That's right.
And also, you do have to think of the meme potential. Like again, we had specific outfits to go to a bar in because we were like, what would it be funny to take 2 a.m. pictures in a parking lot with? And Sunstreaker and Sideswipe was the answer. And we were right. Okay, first of all, any large group of any kind, people are excited about. And 6 people constitutes a large group. Yeah. So, like, truly,
6 costume people is like 12 non-costume people.
Yes, it is impossible to parse, especially if you do things that are as simple as like coordinating the materials used. People go batshit.
Yeah,
like if matching Decepticon logos, people are like, "Oh my god, you're a group. They're the same enamel pin," and you're like, "Yes, thank you."
Yeah, that was actually the exact example I was about to use. Is like if you can just tell that people were like planned this, they're in.
I also do want to say miscellaneous gaggle of Cassetticons and having a baby fight is also a great group.
That's cool.
That's great when they have the baby fight in the tower.
Yeah. I like the group concept idea. I like the idea of having a hot rod and a cup surrounded by Sharkticons. Or I like having an Ultra Magnus that's got a bunch of parts missing, and you got to people like
you got to put them back together.
Junkions, that's the one.
You got to put them back together.
Junkions.
I would love the Mad Max style costume.
Yeah.
Of course. Also, I did just remember that Blur is in the movie, and I have wanted to cosplay that little blue bitch for so long.
Okay, no, follow me on this one. Blur and a bunch of Dinobots because he does the whole like trying to get them in the ship thing. That would be a fun group.
Yeah,
that's good.
That would be a good group.
Get the Dinobots in the shuttle.
Oh my god!
Like a disturbing one that it's inappropriate, but it's like it's always
no.
It's like RC's always getting a wrist grab, so I'd be like an RC, and then someone's always coming up and grabbing her wrists. It's just like,
poor RC.
yeah.
No, RC is on my list because I've cosplayed.
You've done Prime RC.
Yeah, I have Prime RC, but like I need to do the classic pink RC.
Yeah.
At some I was trying to remember who's left at the end of the movie, like who drives out of his eye.
Who's still alive?
I mean, that's Rodimus, Ultramagnus, Cup, Springer.
Is Jazz? No.
Yeah.
He's
Jazz is there. Jazz and I think B. Yeah, Jazz and Bumblebee.
Yeah. I'd like to be a dead Wheeljack. That would be like because it.
Yo, what if we just do that shuttle crew that died?
Not even that, just like a corpse group of just like the dead.
That's a great idea.
And then when people ask, okay, wait, no, I want to do. Is it Ratchet? Who's the one who has the horrible smoke death?
Prowl.
That's Prowl.
Okay, so I have a very, very small for cosplay. I'm not gonna lie, it's a vape that's been modified to be a smoke machine. But I'm gonna be proud, and then if people ask for a picture, I'm just gonna fall over and start.
That'd be a good one.
Awesome idea.
That's a super iconic shot.
Yeah.
I think a zombie group would be so fun.
I think he's just dead, and then when people ask for a picture, we just collapse.
You would give anybody that's our age, it's like over 40, you would give PTSD when you do that.
Good.
You'd have all these people be like, they would have to like go back to their room and sit down for a little while.
I do like making people have trauma. Hey man, do you want to go to our trauma?
Who's dead next to the
It's Wind Charger.
Yeah.
Wind Charger. Okay. Because they are so traumatic.
Because they don't even talk about it. They're just dead bodies. And especially Wheeljack. It's like we've been hanging out with this guy for a while.
Yeah.
And now he's just a scrub on the floor.
Seeing that dead Wheeljack. That was like when I saw that shot as a kid, it messed me. It was I remember it because I was like, oh my God, there's mortality. You know, in media, I wasn't used to seeing something dead in a cartoon.
Well, because usually, like cartoons are so low stakes.
Yeah,
where it's like we're gonna be fine.
Yeah, I always knew Wile E. Coyote would be okay.
Yeah, and then very suddenly they were like, it's no longer fun.
It's actually funny that he's getting hurt. But then I'm like, it'd be weird to see a Roadrunner and a Coyote cartoon where he's dead.
Then everybody goes to his funeral.
Except for the Roadrunner, he'd like dance on his grave.
Yeah, he actually the Roadrunner goes and he cries. He sheds the strongest tear and he throws like the flowers of some desert bush on top of
and that's when you find out it's all been a trick and the coyote's not dead at all. It was a elaborate trap to get the Roadrunner.
Oh my God,
we're really good at writing, you guys.
Yeah, it's amazing that Hollywood hasn't picked you guys up yet.
I keep sending them emails.
Yeah,
dear Mr. Hollywood,
Hollywood at Hollywood.
Please give me job.
Please give job.
Listen, people. If you'd like to support us, you can do it one of two ways: via our Patreon or through some merch at our APDC store. Check out the goods at our website or patreon.com/APodDecast. And other than that, I think Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, TuneIn, whatever the fuck that is, they're all appropriate places to continue to listen to this show you're listening to right now. Don't stop. Don't change platforms just for the hell of it. Continue listening on whatever you're listening to now, I say.
That's what Aaron always says. 5 stars, please.
My mantra. You can visit us on all of our social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at APodDecast, and there's the web present at the web present.
There's the web present. You go there and you get a little gift.
Yeah, just unwrap it, open it up, boom, it's a ceramic turtle. I don't know why. AutopodDecepticast.com. Anybody else got anything witty to say before we close this thing out?
I've never been funny before in my life.
All right, bye everybody. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Holy shit. You guys keep talking. If I'm literally about to piss my
And
can she
send some burgers your way?
Can she send burgers and food to Bailey and Hano?
Bailey
and Hano.
He just called you Bailey and Hano. Perfect portmanteau.
Time. All right. Sorry. I will now slow down my drinking.
Let's get some water.
Because Hayley comes out just sounding like another woman, but I sound like a Star Wars character.
You're Hano. Yes.
I like this.
Yes.
Bro Cells is the sponsor of Autopod Decepticast. Yes.